Hi Flosstube, I'm Misty Purcell. Welcome to my channel. Today is the 16th of November, it's a Monday. I dye fabric and design cross-stitch patterns under the name Luminous Fiber Arts. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome to you if it's your first time here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I've been really looking forward to making this video and sharing some of the things I've been working on with you. So I'm going to talk about some new designs that I've released for Christmas, and I have several projects that I've finished and several new starts because I've been squeezing in lots of stitching. So I'm excited to show you all the things I've been up to. First, I wanted to take a moment to thank everyone who commented on my last video, and the winners already received their packages. They were sent out after the giveaway closed, and everyone responded, so thank you. I really enjoyed reading your comments, and I just wanted to say that I really appreciate all the time that you take to watch my videos and to leave me nice comments. I try to go through and like everyone so that you know that I've seen your comment and read it and that I appreciate it. I'm sorry that I can't always respond to your comments. Usually if you ask a question, I'm able to respond to that. But please know that I really appreciate the time that you take to let me know that you're enjoying the videos, and I enjoy the connection that I have with you guys. So thank you again for that. Okay, so I've got several new designs. I just released a collection of 4 new Christmas ornament patterns. And they all coordinate, but they're separate patterns. These patterns are available from a variety of needle workshops, so you can ask for them at your local needle workshop, or your needle workshop may already have them. So without further ado, let's talk about Christmas in the kitchen. The idea for Christmas in the kitchen, if you've been watching me recently, I've been really geeking out about little Christmas vignettes and snowmen, and I made a paper clay snowman, which I still need to finish him up. That's my plan for Thanksgiving break. Anyway, just like little Christmas scenes using kitchen items like spice tins and jello molds, glass candy jars and apothecary jars, things like that, with little Christmas scenes in them. I love that. And I've been wanting to make my own little scenes, and I haven't really pulled that off yet. And so it occurred to me before I made that paper clay snowman that maybe I should just design something and then stitch it, and at least I'd have it in cross-stitch form much faster than I would be likely to have it in 3D form. So that was the general idea behind Christmas in the kitchen. And so each design in the collection has some kind of Christmas theme and kitchen container. Well, it's just easier if I show you. Okay, so let's start with the design that was the first in the set. This is called Christmas in the Kitchen Tea, because Frosty is on a teacup. These designs are actually all square. If I remember correctly, they're 52 stitches by 52 stitches. However, as I was thinking about how I wanted to finish them, I came across the snowflake. I really liked it, and I decided that I would make them rectangular so that I could put the snowflake here and not have it cover up the design. So instead of making it a square, I did make it a rectangle, but you can finish it however you want. These were all stitched on 32 count faded denim, which is a fabric that I dye. However, alternative fabrics would be Picture This Plus Dwarf or Zweigart Ice Blue. And that's just a solid fabric, the Zweigart. So those are a couple of other options for you as to what you could stitch it on. Now I stitched it on 32 count linen. You can stitch it on Aida. You can stitch it on whatever count you want, whatever fabric you want. It's just what I used. So he's got like a little Christmas bauble here, and there's like a holly pattern on the teacup. You know, I wanted something cute and Christmassy, and then there's bottle brush trees around him. So it's just like a cute little Christmas scene. And each ornament has this rickrack. And the way that I did the rickrack is I glued the red rickrack on first, and I tried to make it so that the little, rickrack has like a bump and an indentation, like a concave and convex. Anyway, I tried to make it so that it was basically splitting the rickrack in half for the red. I glued that on first, starting at the top, glued it on, and then I did the white, and I positioned the white so that it alternated in between and also stuck out a bit more from the ornament farther than the red, and glued that on, and then glued the whole thing to this backing piece. Let's see. The fabric that I use, this minty green dot, is from Fig Tree. It's Farmhouse 2, and the color is Pond. That collection is no longer in print, but I bought the fabric from So Unique Threads in Battle Creek, Michigan this summer, and I called them and they still had some. So I'll put their link below, and if you're looking for it, you can give them a call and see if you can get some. I would say you're gonna need probably at least 1/3 of a yard if you're gonna do all 4 ornaments. The template for this backing piece, this tag, is included in the pattern. Each pattern is a cardstock leaflet, and the chart is in black and white, but the key is in black and white with color, and then there's a DMC conversion. With the red, the Cupid that I used in this one, the darker red, I pulled the whole strand out, all 36 inches, folded it over, and stitched it that way because Cupid has some very dark and very bright portions, and I wanted to tone it down. I kind of wanted the color that was in between the two of them, and that gave me that look. So that is how I stitched the snowman. Now, if you're going to stitch with one strand of thread, what you could do to tone down the variation a little bit between the two shades of red would be to just do like your row of one leg of the X and then come all the way back and cross it, rather than completing each X individually. If you want the more toned down look, that would be another way that you could accomplish that. So the 4 patterns in this collection coordinate. Some of them don't use all the same exact colors of DMC or over-dyed floss, so please be aware of that. Okay, this is Christmas in the Kitchen candy canes, and you've got a mama and baby deer, and Mrs. Claus has a cute little bun in her hair, and she's in a glass candy jar. It's a little wreath here, and she's feeding them candy canes, which are their favorite food. So yeah, each one's just like a cute little Christmas scene, and I so loved designing each of these, and I was so excited to release them. I had so much fun stitching them. I just couldn't wait to show you. The enamel snowflake is something that I had in my shop. I've sold out, but I will be getting more in. The ribbon is from Hobby Lobby, and the information about the ribbon is listed on the pattern. And I used Vanna's mounted Christmas tag tutorial as my guide for finishing these. This is Christmas in the Kitchen gingerbread. This time Frosty's got a really cute little red ear flap hat, and he's in a little cake dome with a glass cloche here. This is the cake plate. And then we've got this cute little gingerbread house with the gumdrops on top. And I'm not normally a big house stitcher, but man, I do love stitching gingerbread houses, I've discovered. So I think there might be more gingerbread houses in my designing future. Okay, and lastly, we have Coco. So Santa and Rudolph are discussing their plans for their flight on Christmas Eve, and Santa's favorite thing is to have a cup of cocoa before he takes off on Christmas Eve. So those are the kitchen themes. You have the teacup, the cocoa tin, the cake dome, and the candy jar. So I hope that you will love stitching these and displaying them as much as I do. They really coordinate pretty well with my decor here, which I've got a lot of mint green and red which I've discovered is kind of my thing for Christmas. If you have any questions, let me know. I think I've covered most things about the designs, but if I failed to mention something or you have a lingering question, just put a question in the comments. There are 4 over-dyed flosses that I used in these designs overall, but not every design uses all of the flosses. So the over-dyed flosses were Classic Colorworks Cupid, Classic Colorworks Lemongrass, and Classic Colorworks Lettuce Leaf, Weeks Dye Works Pecan. And then everything else is DMC. So these are available from your needle workshop. If you don't have a needle workshop, you can also find them in my Etsy shop. I am offering kits. I do have a few kits left. And with kit options, I have like a kit, which includes the patterns, the charm, the floss, etc., everything you need, and the linen. And then I did have a partial kit, which is sold out, but I will get more in stock, which is the fabric and the floss, and then you can select whatever else you want to include. So I've run out of several supplies, so I'll be reordering, and I would think that I'll have most things back in stock in a couple of weeks. So, I think that's everything about the ornaments. And let's move on to one other new design that I released. This is called Comfort and Joy. And this was published in the most recent issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, the mega issue for winter and Christmas. And I was thrilled to be accepted into the magazine, and then I was doubly thrilled to see this appear on the cover of the magazine, because I was not expecting that at all. And this is a beautiful piece. I wanted something that I thought fit with the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher theme, so something maybe a little bit less bright than I usually do. Actually, it looks kind of more bright in the sun right now. But something soft and sweet. And as I was thinking about it, basically the whole concept for the design, which rarely happens, but it just came to me. So I sketched it out, and then I practiced drawing the bird, which is a tufted titmouse. I think they're so cute. And all of the flosses are DMC. I stitched this on 40 count sparrow linen, which is a fabric that I dye. You do not have to stitch it on 40 count. You do not have to stitch it on linen. An alternative fabric would be Vintage Country Mocha by Zweigart. So again, all DMC. And then the trim. Oh, I think I failed to mention the trims on the other designs. I'll mention that in a minute. Trim is Brick House by Lady Dot Creates. So I'm super happy with how this came out. It's just beautiful. There's a little design here. It's very subtle on the urn. And this is a poinsettia. So you can find that in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. I have a digital subscription. I would love to have the hard copy subscription, but I have so many weaving magazines right now that I'm not allowed to have any more magazines until I do some purging or something. So I've got the digital subscription. Hopefully someday I can purge and move on to the print version, because it would be lovely to have. It's a lovely magazine. Okay, so I think I failed to mention, this is Snow and Sizzle. The red is Sizzle by Lady Dot Creates. The rickrack is the 1/2 inch version, not the narrower one, but the 1/2 inch rickrack. So I forgot to mention that. When I made the cording, I just used Vanna's tutorial, and I think it was just 1 strand of B5200 for that. Okay, so that's my shop stuff. Let's move on to some finishes. I've had several. I'll start with the one that you've seen. So I've been working for a while on Autumn Samplers from Prairie Schooler. And I'm doing the one on the right-hand side Hopefully it's right-handed for you. I don't think this is backwards. So anyway, the one with the leaves, which is also called Autumn. That's the name of the sampler. Okay, so I was doing that one. If you were here before, I mentioned that I wanted to modify it because this poem, there's more to it than what's just here. So I added the rest of the poem and charted it that way. And then I just added some additional leaves here. This acorn I added in, this leaf I think I added or moved from somewhere else. And then otherwise, this is acorn I added as well. Otherwise, everything's as it was. I just took out all these leaves that are big up here, repeat down here. But I liked the poem so well that I wanted to include the whole thing. So wind is rising and the air is wild with leaves. We've had, I did modify this. It said we have had, I made it we've had so I could fit it. We've had our summer evenings, now for October eves. And I just really like that sentiment, and I like October evenings. And I don't know, it's such a perfect saying. It's a poem, I think the poet was Humbert Wolf. I'll double check that. But I think it turned out awesome. I'm super happy with it. I didn't make any changes to the floss. It's all DMC. This is stitched on 40 count sparrow linen dyed by me. So yeah, I'm super happy with how it turned out. Because when I recharted it, I only did this part and I really didn't know how it would look with this part up here. It was just going to be a bit of a gamble. So I'm glad that in the end it looks fine. So I'm delighted to have this finished. Obviously, since Christmas has happened, this is not going up this year. I don't know that I'll bother to frame it until like maybe next summer in preparation for fall. Okay, next. This is a new start and finish. I got another, because I'm kind of obsessed. This is designed by, and I'm going to probably forget. I'm going to forget how to pronounce it correctly, but it's Veronique Anjanchi. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I listened like 5 times to it, but you know, I haven't studied French in a really long time. So I got this from the Etsy shop, the Le Brodeau Parisien. Sorry. I'll try to be better next time with my pronunciation. Here, you can see it right here. This is their .com, but they have an Etsy shop. And I love her Christmas designs. You can see an example of what's included in here. This is like the little preview. Lots and lots of patterns. So I get these as like a treat to myself every so often. And I stitched this guy. So he's super cute with his little bunny friend. I'll be turning him into an ornament. And this is all DMC. There's some back stitching and a little bit of fractional stitches. Not difficult to do. A lot of color changes, so it does take a little bit. You know, this took me several days. 40 count white Zweigart undyed is the linen. So there's that. And then lastly, another new start and finish. I've had this one in my stash for a while. This is Deck the Halls by the Drawn Thread. The pattern calls for, I think it's Stinky Dyes silks, which I didn't have, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me. I do actually have probably enough reds and greens to have been able to do a silk conversion, but it didn't occur to me for some reason. I don't know why. So I just did a cotton conversion with some overdyed flosses and some DMC, and I think it turned out really, really well. So I debated whether I wanted to do it on 40 count or 32 count. I like to use both. And I was just trying to decide, do I want to display it as a pillow or as an ornament? And I decided to do it as a pillow. If I'd gone with the ornament, I'd have probably done it on 40 count. So here it is. This is stitched on 32 count soft porcelain, which is a fabric that I dye. And all DMC and over-dyed flosses. It was all, it was a mix of classic Colorworks and Weeks. I really love the light green. It's kind of a yellowy green, but then it's got these shades of blue in it. It's very pretty. And I love the red, which is licorice red. I'm a big fan of that color. So this design includes back stitching. There's an option in the chart to stitch the branches over one, or there's a version that's just back stitched. So most of this you could actually do on Ada. However, and there's these Jessica stitches, which are the little round berries, which that was interesting. I'd never done one. It's a Smyrna with a Jessica on top of it. So I had to learn how to do that. I think you could replace those with buttons if you didn't want to do the Jessicas. But if you're stitching on Ada, the thing that would be hard to do would be the beaks, because they're, you know, they would be splitting the threads on Ada. So you'd have to do that or modify them. So just a heads up if you're an Ada stitcher. But it's beautiful. I'm delighted with how it turned out. I've admired it for a long time. I think I'd like to stitch this again as a gift sometime for someone. So I'm really happy with that. So I did opt for the over one stitching in the branches. I did go with that, and it wasn't bad. Okay, those are my finishes. And then I have 2 new starts. Okay, so the first one is Chock-full Christmas by Erica Michaels. She released this last year. I really like this design, and I think the saying is really sweet. Though your stockings of silk or cotton or wool, I hope this Christmas finds it chock-full. That's what it says. I'm stitching this on 40 count macchiato. And I am using most of the called for threads, but I did change the red. It was Aztec red by Weeks, and it just felt too pink to me. I like my reds a little bit more red for Christmas. So I changed it to, I think I'm using Turkish red. I don't know. I don't have my floss with me, but I think it's Turkish red. So the thing that I realized as I was stitching this, I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I would. I think it's very green. Even the yellow is pretty green. And there is red. It's just that I think for me, for Christmas, I tend to like more red with green rather than more green with red. And so I'm not having as much fun stitching this as I would have expected. But I'm kind of far into it to stop. So I don't know. It might just be that I stitch it. It's like my conversation piece when I'm like Zoom stitching with friends. Maybe I work on it then. I mean, it's really pretty and I do like it. It's very green. And I like green, but I like a lot of red at Christmas. So I don't know. I think that's what my issue is, because I find that I'm not drawn to it to pick up to work on. So that's my best guess as to what my problem is. Okay, and then I just started this yesterday. I stitched one of these last year. Last year I stitched Santa on the reindeer. This is Prairie Schooler Santa Rides, and now I'm doing Santa on the horse. And this chart is special to me because I have some Hallmark Christmas ornaments from my childhood that are similar to these, and my mom had some too. So that's really why I like them a lot. I'm stitching mine on a blue-green fabric. This is a solo, but it's kind of in between Sea Glass and Jolly Green, which is a fabric I dye. This is 46 count. And I think I changed all the colors to look more like the pattern photo and less like the actual colors, which now I don't remember exactly what the actual colors look like. but I wanted them to look more bright. So I'm working on this. I just started it yesterday. It's really sweet. These are Edmunds Stretcher Bars. I'll put a little info in the description box about that if you have a question about it. Okay. That is all for those guys. And lastly, just a couple of things. And then I have a giveaway. Okay, so I just got a shipment of Picture This Plus fabrics into my shop. I haven't posted them yet. I need to finish shipping my orders from the weekend. So I would expect to start seeing the Picture This Plus fabrics show up in a few days. Later this week and into next week, I'll start listing them. And I also got some Weeks fabric in, like the same time, and that's a Zweigart base. I got some straw linen in, so you can look for that popping up with that as well. Yeah, about 2 to 3 days you should see it. I just need to finish up my shipping. I'm having trouble getting Aida right now to dye. I'm not having trouble getting it in solid colors like blue, etc., but white Aida, just plain white Aida to dye has been out of stock for some time from the distributor, and every time I check it's still out of stock. And there's no estimated return date for that. So if you are an Aida stitcher, I'm not ignoring you. I just can't get any to dye for you. So FYI, it'll come back into stock and then I'll dye it again. But for right now, I just can't get it. So that's why there's not much Aida in my shop. Okay, so I have reached 6,000 subscribers, and as a thank you, I would like to do a giveaway. So I'm going to offer all 4 of my new Christmas charts: tea, gingerbread, candy canes, and cocoa. And in order to be eligible to win the 4 charts, please comment on this video only. Please don't comment anywhere else or I won't be able to include your comment. Please comment on this video and mention the word kitchen and answer this question. So say kitchen and tell me, what is something, if you decorate for Christmas or even for winter, what is something that you really enjoy seeing every year when you open up your decorations? So for me, lately, one thing that I really enjoy is my garland of tiny knits that I worked so hard on, and it makes me happy every time I get it out of my boxes. So what's something that makes you happy? It could be something that you made or someone else made or something that you've bought, but it just brings a smile to your face when you see it. Tell me about that. The giveaway will close next Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So the 23rd will be the last day to comment, and then I'll draw a winner next week, Tuesday. Please be at least 18. You do not have to live in the United States to be eligible, but you need to be at least 18. You must comment on this video. Please don't mention the word giveaway in your comment. I think that's everything. So I really appreciate you spending time with me today, and I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm really looking forward to it, and I've got plans. I'm going to take some time. I still need to work, but I'm not teaching the week of Thanksgiving, so I will be doing some Christmas crafting, and I'm starting to line up my projects for that. So I'm really excited about that week, and of course I always enjoy Thanksgiving. I hope that you will have a wonderful Thanksgiving as well, however that looks for you this year. And I think I'll be back relatively soon, definitely again before Christmas. So I will see you soon, and thanks so much. Take care.